Okay, so last week we spent our entire week actually looking at slope. This day we're going to move forward. We're going to talk about slope and y-intercept, graphing lines, writing equations of lines, all of that. So as a review from last week, we talked about slope is rise over run. Okay, we talked about how to calculate it as well. What we're bringing in today is the equation of a line in slope-intercept form. Okay, so this should not be anything new to you, but we're going to review it anyways, just in case. So remember, slope-intercept form is set up so that y is all by itself. Y is isolated, just like we had to do last week in order to read the slope. Remember, m is our slope, and the b is the y-intercept. But that can only happen when the y is isolated, when y is all by itself. All right, so on your notes, you have this huge graph with a whole lot of lines on it. Okay, we're going to start with that, and we're going to find the equation of all those lines together. All right, we're going to work on finding the equation of all those lines together. So let's start with line A. Okay, and my graph up here, I've isolated each one for us, but you have them all in the same graph. So line A here, first thing we need to do is decide the slope. So first of all, I notice it's a horizontal line. So thinking back to last week, is that a zero slope or an undefined slope? Is this flat cross-country skiing, or is it, free jumping, falling to your death? Okay, flat cross-country skiing is what we have here, which means it's a zero slope. There's zero incline. So my slope is 0. The y-intercept is where our graph crosses the y-axis. So what value here does it cross the y-axis? Well, I can count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 places. So that's 7 on the y-axis. So my y-intercept is 7. So remembering y equals mx plus b, we are only replacing the slope and the y-intercept. We're only replacing the y-intercept. So y equals, we have for our slope, we have 0 times x plus my y-intercept is 7. Now remember last week we talked about when we came up with those equations of lines, examples of the equations, we said whenever we have a horizontal line, it's just a y equals a number. There's no x involved. Well, here's why. Because 0 times anything is always 0. So y equals 7 is the equation of this line. Okay, so down at the bottom there, you need to list your slope like I did, you need to list your y-intercept like I did, and then you need to write the equation of the line. So make sure you have all of line A filled in. Okay, let's look at B. Let's find line B. Okay, this is cursive B. You can see the B clear to the right, it's just right under the letter A. Got a little messy in there. All right, so now, when we go to find points to count, we need to look for really good points. Now, what I mean by really good points, we're looking for where that line crosses the grid lines of the graph. So here's all my grid lines, right? Running horizontal and vertical. We're looking for points that do a really good job at crossing right where the grid lines meet. So for instance, this point right here is really nice. That one's really nice. That one's really nice. Okay, so we have several really nice points here. I really only need 2. We really only need 2. So remember, slope is rise over run. So to go from this point here, say, to this point here, talking about a rise of 1 and a run of 3. So my slope is 1/3. Now, I have a positive 1/3. Stop and think about, does that make sense? Is that something you weren't very good at on your quiz? Think about, is it increasing? Reading from left to right, is this line increasing? It is, so this should be a positive number, which we do have. So stop and think, before you just write everything down, always stop and think, does your answer make sense? Is it reasonable? All right, now what about my y-intercept? Where does it cross the y-axis? So I'm going to know right here, it crosses at 1, 2, 3. So my y-intercept is 3. So the equation of my line is y equals 1/3 x plus 3. Again, for line B, make sure you have the slope recorded, you have the y-intercept recorded, and you have the equation recorded. Okay, line C. Line C. Find that on your paper. Okay, so before we even get started, look at the direction of this line. Is it going to be a positive or a negative slope? It is increasing, so it should be a positive slope. All right, so we're looking for those good points again. Okay, so we're looking for those good points. So let's see, I see one here, and I see one here. This one works too, I guess. So let's count that. Let's count that. I have my pointer in the way here. All right, so we're going to count. We go up 2 and over 3. We rise 2, we run 3, and remember we just talked about that's going to be positive. So it's a positive 2/3. My y-intercept. Where is it crossing the y-axis? 1, 2, 3, 4 down this time. Right, so remember that's -4. Okay, so let's write our equation. Y equals, my slope is 2/3 x and then -4. All right, let's look at D, line D. Okay, looking for those good points again. I see one here and one here. Okay, so thinking about our slope, before I even start, look at the direction of that line. Look at the direction of the line. I know that is going to be a negative slope. So when I do my calculations, I know I should end up with a negative number. So think about rise over run. Well, this time I'm falling, which is why it's going to be negative. So 2 over 3. So because I was falling, it's going to be a -2/3. Okay, now I got to figure out my y-intercept. So where is it crossing the y-axis? Right here is where y equals 2. My y-intercept is 2. So go ahead and write the equation on your line. So y equals -2/3 x. Don't forget your x. Plus 2. Okay, a couple more. All right. So you go ahead and find your good points. I like those two. Okay, think about this. What kind of slope is it going to be? Positive, negative, 0 at the time? This one should be a positive slope. Okay, so rising 3, running 1. So positive 3 over 1, or you can just write that as 3. Either way. Okay, and where are we crossing the y-axis? Count down, that's happening at -8. So my y-intercept is -8. So our equation, y equals 3x minus 8. Okay, last one. Last one. All right, so this is our vertical line, right? This is our vertical line. Do we have a y-intercept? We don't, right? This doesn't exist. My slope is, what kind of slope is that? Since we have a vertical line, remember that's free falling. There is no skiing, there are no slopes, it is undefined. There's an undefined slope. Okay, and we talked about how that's just going to be an x equals. X equals a number. So what x value does it always have to be? So think about, if I count over, this x value right here is at a -7. X must always, always, always be a -7. So that is our equation. Remember, that's a little reminder, though, that a vertical line is going to be an x equals a number. Horizontal line is going to be y equals a number. Okay, now, on the back of the notes, if you flip those over, there's some problems there. Okay, so for each of those, in that table, you're going to be working forward and backwards. Okay, you're going to be working forward and backwards. So the first one, I give you -2 is the slope. I give you the y-intercept, is at 0, 3, so that's the coordinate. I want to know the equation. I want to know the equation. So this one I'm giving you everything. I'm giving you the m. We know this is our b because remember if x is 0, we're talking a point that is like right here. So that is my y-intercept. So in here you're going to write the equation. Y equals negative 2x plus 3. Okay, and the next one though, I give you the equation. Y equals negative 4x plus 7. I want you to work backwards and find the slope and the y-intercept. So a little bit of this is what we did last week. Remember how we talked about if y is all by itself, which it is, that negative 4, the number in front of the x has to be our slope. My slope is negative 4. Okay, then we know our y-intercept is the constant down here. So I know that the y value has to be 7, which means the x value is 0. Okay, so you have a few more lines in that table to fill out. At the bottom, I gave you 6 more graphs. I made the points really obvious, like which ones you should use to count your slope, because I think it was D is a little confusing on our notes here. So identify the slope, identify the y-intercept, and then write your equation. Excuse me. So you're going to finish the back side of the notes first, and then you have a quizzes to do. Okay? And Mrs. Mooney has the password to get into quizzes, and she'll give you all of that information when she'll probably put that up here on the smart board, and then you can do your quizzes. Okay? If you get done with that, then work on your missing work. Out of my 50 students, I literally have 4 students who don't have anything missing. There's only 4 people, and out of all of my students, who have an excuse not to do math. Okay, so use your time wisely, get as much done as you can. You're playing quizzes today, we're not making you go to classroom. So we looked at your surveys and we understood what you're saying, so we're trying to adjust things a little bit this week. Okay, so finish the back, and then you're going to do quizzes.